Wood turners, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan in a shop. Winter finally hit South Louisiana. It's down in the 40s and it's blowing hard, so I'm hiding out in the shop today. A while back I did one called Chuck, my best friend. And it was about my Chuck. Yeah, my one-way stronghold Chuck. Yesterday I was doing a demonstration for the club and I realized Chuck isn't working as well as it used to. He's gotten a little dirty, so it's time to clean it up. And I don't think I've shown you this one before. So right now, I'm going to get Chuck a bath. Watch. I start by removing all the jaws. Just get them out the way. But while you have them off, clean that up back there. Get a little scrub brush or wire brush and clean that up. Also clean up all the gunk, goop, and stuff that's going to build up on the edges. You know, you got to do the ears when you wash the kit, right? By the way, what you saw me using was a screw stick. This has got a little bit of torque, and it also, you can use it locked down, but not enough torque to strip it when you go back in. OneWay recommends that you do not use a power screwdriver coming and going for these jaws. But this little thing almost doesn't qualify as a power screwdriver. Still be careful. A cross-threaded screw can cost you a screw, the dog, or an injury. Now that you got the jaws out the way, you want to take the dogs out. This is what I would call a dog. And you just put your key in and back it out. Now, on your Chuck, they are numbered, on the dogs, pardon me, they're numbered number 1, 2, 3, 4. But they go counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to remember that. You might want to make a note. 1, 2, 3, 4. Otherwise, they will not go back to lining up in the center. And I'll show you a little trick on getting that to happen later on. But take the dogs out. Oh yeah, you clean those too with a little wire brush. The next step is to get the Chuck key ready. It's right here. My Chuck key, the ends are Marlinized or beat over or hammered on so they don't slide out. Yours might have O-rings or rubber keys, but you need to end up with this. If you don't do this, don't continue on, because everything else would be extremely dangerous. But you need Chuck key without the top. Next, and I hope you're making notes, you need a driver. This is a piece of mahogany. It could be, well, you guys wonder why it's not made out of corian, because I knocked it out a few minutes ago without gluing anything up. But I just tapered this down to 3/8. This fit into a piece of tubing that is 7/8 OD, 5/8 ID. 7/8 OD, 5/8 ID. Look, see what's written right here. All right, and I bought a whole 3 inches of this at the hardware store. Well, I'll be honest. I told the guy I needed a sample to go try something. So he cut 3 inches off and gave it to me. You need this as a driver. You also need a variable speed, low and high speed, cordless drill. As long as you have something that'll run down at about 100 RPMs or less, you're okay. You just don't want to have a 3,800 RPM motor pushing this thing along. Now, let's get to cleaning. In this little plastic container I borrowed from a nice lady in the kitchen, I've put clean mineral spirits. Clean not being the operative word. It just doesn't have paint in it. I could have used it to remove anything else or clean up something, but I don't think I want any paint solids in there. My Chuck happens to fit down almost all the way in there. That's okay. Then I've taken my drill, put in my adapter, slipped in my key. Do you know where I'm going with this? Watch. Right down in here and start running the motor. Now that was spotless, clean mineral spirits when I got started. I don't have any oil, chemicals, or anything special in there. And now I'm going to take me about 5 minutes and just run this thing. That's all. When I get done, I'll show you what happens in my clean mineral spirits. Or my chuck. Hell, I'll show you both. I'm all done cleaning the lathe. And I used the mineral spirits to clean the chucks, the dogs also. Polished them up, I blew them off. Please wear proper eye protection when you do that. High pressure air, mineral spirits, dirt. It's all out there. It's going to find an eyeball. Now, that is what came out of my chuck. That was clean. I mean, crystal clean. Crystal clean, crystal clear when I got started. Now, I'll dump this back into my paint thinner can, but I'll dump it through an old sock. And that way the dirt will stay and I'll be able to use it again. I wouldn't then paint with it, I only clean with the stuff. Paint, it's sort of like work, isn't it? What I didn't show you a few minutes ago is I took some 400 grit paper and cleaned up all the glue and residue that had built up on a face of mine between the jaws, just from spray. Then I took a wire brush and cleaned down on the inside all up. These are like $3 for $1 at Harbor Freight, but it could be an old toothbrush. Just don't put the wife's toothbrush back after you use it, okay? But clean up all that stuff. You'll like it. We're all cleaned up, dried off, toweled up. You didn't have air. You could just wipe it off with a brush. Now I want to put the dogs back in. I put them where they go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that. It's counterclockwise. Now, this device is a creation of Big Guy Productions. You can special order these. They're in a fall catalog right now. And you put this around the outside of the jaws and you make sure it's properly calibrated. We sell a calibration tool also. And you put it around and that's going to bring the 4 jaws back in at the same time. And you want that. Now I'm going to put my chuck driver back in, and I'm going to go backwards. Now, see how they're snapping? The 4th came down, that was the 1, and I am now going to go the other way and drive them in. Now, if they're properly lined up, they will meet right, but they're not. You see, I was 1 off. So I'm going to back up, let it click again, then go back in. And it'll work. Let me explain something what I did a minute ago. There's a number stamped on my chuck for number 1. But that happens to be where number 4 has always been for me. And I stamped the number 4 in the end before I saw the number 1. You need more about that? Don't worry about it. When I'm going back ways, when I'm reversing the chuck key, when the number 1 dog drops, that's when I go on forward and it'll line back up. When the number 1 dog drops, that's the starting point. Okay? Now, I'm going to put the rest of my stuff back together. Oh, don't lose this. It was very expensive. And it's also a weapon of mass destruction in several third world nations. Come here, granddaughter. This is my dearest friend Charles. He's a good wood turning buddy, but he needed a bath. Charles, you're smelling much better than you used to. I did all that in about a half an hour. Took a little time, and I cleaned all my jaw sets while I was at it. I cleaned out the screws so that the driver sits down in there better. I didn't put any lubricant on it. Look, he's sparkly back there. See that? I mean, this guy's looking good. So clean your lathe. Clean your chuck. Clean up your act. Okay, now, disclaimer. Those fantastic folks at OneWay Lathe Corporation did not endorse this, did not recommend this, has never seen this, I would never consult it. This is my idea. So if you do this and you feel uncomfortable, stop. put it all back together, clean it up, and forget it. But don't call OneWay and say you used their technique and your whatever. Nothing to do with it. They make some of the finest equipment in the entire world. I love my OneWay lathe. I love all my OneWay equipment, and I've got a ton of it. Use it properly, read their instructions. Please, heed all safety warnings. But this is how I have found how to clean this chuck. Give it a try. Chuck, I didn't want to tell you, but the WD-40 you were wearing wasn't working. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. I'm going back. Oh, wait. Forgot to tell you. If you need my tip sheet, this address right here. Just send me an email. I'll send you the tip sheet and all the stuff that we talk about. It's free. And if you want to call me, the phone number's on there too. I'm not taking calls when I'm with Chuck. Let's be disrespectful. I'm making shavings. Right, Chuck? Right. Okay. Man, you are so slick now. Woo, woo. That sweet little Nova down the street got nothing on you.